This past weekend, man, Arkansas suffered another brutal loss, and I talked about it on Saturday post game. It's not something we're new to. It's something we've experienced throughout at least my personal fandom, which has been almost 15, 20 years. It didn't feel out of the ordinary. In fact, it felt right on brand. We obviously lose that Ole Miss game 2 weeks ago as we drive down the field and fumble it in a game-winning drive situation. And we did the exact same thing against Memphis. 31-32 is ultimately the loss in that game. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. I did do a recap show on Saturday, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But we're gonna break down what I've done in the past, and we're gonna talk about the offensive grade, the defensive grade, just some notes from each of the two units and how well they played. Obviously, this week and last week, it's coming after losses, so it's obviously very deflating. But we'll start on the offensive side, and currently, for the miss this game, I've got the offensive grade as a B minus. So if you watched the show last week, post Ole Miss game, I think I gave Arkansas's offense an A minus. I predicted that this weekend we would have won against Memphis, but it would have been 31-24, and we scored 31 points. So I feel like C plus C would have been fine as well, but I'm going to give us a B minus because I thought we played fine offensively. That fourth quarter was brutal, and really the second half in general was brutal. We had, I believe it was 28 points at the half. Yeah, 28 points at the half, and to only score three in the second half. I mean, I think the offense got close to an A plus in the first half, and really D in the second half. So kind of it blends together for a B minus. But Taylor Green, I've got some numbers for us. Taylor Green, 18 to 34, 325 passing yards, a touchdown, and two picks. That second pick not at the time you want it. 12 carries, 53 yards. I think that may have been one of his rushing lows. He was one of the leading rushers in the nation for quarterbacks among in rushing yards, but only 53 this past weekend. But he still was responsible for nearly 380 yards of offense. So that was good for him. Mike Washington Jr. had 84 total yards and a touchdown. Rohan Jones, the tight end, was our leading receiver with two catches, 102 yards and a receiving touchdown. That 62-yard receiving touchdown, most notably. And then Omega Blake was our leading reception getter with six catches for 60 yards, and he's been one of our leading receivers all season. But ultimately, I wanted to give the offense a B minus. Definitely didn't play as well as we did last year. We didn't score even as much points, but we did get 31. And for me, I thought the offense still played solid. It's really the defense once again that really fell short, and that's what we'll do to transition here. I've got the defensive grade as a D minus, and if you watched Ole Miss's show, we had an F as the grade for last week. And this was I wanted to give about as close as I could, but just one notch above. So I gave it a D minus. And ultimately, the defense is really like we throw an interception, they get the ball back, they score. We get the ball, we go down, we fumble, and then at the very end of the game, it's a third and 8, I believe. They bring in their backup quarterback, and our defense could not get him on the ground. And that's one of those that like I would have given them probably a D plus prior to that, and instantly just dropped it a little bit more to a D minus. And the defense once again is the reason we're losing football games. And these past 2 weeks have been the brutal showing of that. And I hate that because if you watched the post game for Arkansas State in that following recap and preview show for the Ole Miss game, I talked about how much I kind of loved this defense. And I don't think a lot of Arkansas fans shared that same sentiment as I did. But I really thought after a 7 point defensive hold for against Arkansas State had 14, but seven of it was on a kick return touchdown. Holding them to 7 points, who I thought Arkansas State, for a lot of people, thought they were going to be a fairly potent offense, even if they weren't necessarily that good of a team and weren't going to beat us. But to hold them to seven, I really thought that the defense had played really well. And to then go in the next week and give up 41, and they go into this past week and give up 32. It's one of those moments that I was completely wrong. I was very much wrong. And I hate that because this is a team that their offense has put a fairly good step forward, and the defense has really let them down. And I want to give them a D minus. The only guy that doesn't deserve a D minus to me is Quincy Rhodes Jr., who had six total tackles, two sacks, and four tackles for loss. He was single-handedly our defensive line, and to be your second leading tackler, like that's just speaks to who's on the second level of your defense. And so for him, maybe he deserves a better grade. But For the rest of the defense, D minus was to me totally fair in terms of how well they played. So offensive grade is a B minus. The defensive grade is a D minus.